See where I put things I create at. Not for the Weaker Sex by David J. Rowbottom. Volume 15. How to Have Sex with Animals. Calm down. If you're thinking to yourself, finally an instructional manual describing the best way to take Tiddles up the wrong 'un without the usual clawing and desperately sad meowing, then you may be a little disappointed. Writer's note, wrong 'un in this example being every single hole Tiddles possesses. If that is your, shall we politely say, thing, then might I suggest you seek the help of a professional. And by professional I mean a therapist, and not the owner of the nearest boarding kennel and/or cattery. Unless, of course, but there is an argument to say that if, and I reckon it's a pretty big if you did manage to arouse Tiddles in the obvious ways, say a stiffened nipple here and a smattering of vaginal lubrication there, then perhaps, just perhaps, we could assume that the act was consensual. Unless Tiddles is a badly named boy cat, in which case I think you should stop reading this and start stopping raping cats. Unless you're a woman or a gay man. Tiddles, sporting a stiffy, would appear to be fair game under those circumstances. But what if you're a gay woman? It's time, I think, to stop. I can sense that the hole into which I am writing myself is closing around me like the swollen, wet pudenda of a female gorilla during a King Kong movie. Writer's note. Let that image linger in your mind for a moment. Try to really imagine it. If you feel anything other than complete disgust, please go to this website immediately. Girlrilla.com. Cats. During the sex act, a cat will generally remain uninterested. Writer's note. This is a sex act between two humans with the cat as an onlooker. If you're still thinking about having sex with a cat, please go and read somewhere else. They couldn't care less if their human is kissing, seducing, masturbating, writhing, grinding, bouncing upon, being bounced on, felleting, or cunnilinguring. Seeing Mummy being tied to the bed and edged with a feather, or Daddy having melted candle wax dripped onto his scrotum, doesn't even hit the button marked indifferent. They remain completely unmoved, as juices of different flavors and consistencies projectile around the room, and no amount of pained noises and loud heavenly expressions will cause even a perfunctory twitch on an ear. The only time a cat will get involved with any kind of dirty human goings-on, from a solo expedition to a full-on gangbang, is when it is being performed directly between where the cat is and where the cat wishes to be. When a location pops into a cat's little mind, for example a trip to the windowsill to see if the next-door cat Tiddles is walking gingerly around the garden with a lost and vacant look on his face, it will get there via the shortest route. Whether it does it with claws in or out depends solely on the cat's mood that particular day. No amount of slapping and/or gagging will cause the cat to hate the antagonist enough to claw a soft fleshy bottom. But if the cat is in a foul mood, even the most romantic and loving of entwined human bodies can expect the full 18-claw salute. Cats care only about the self that is the ego, and the true self. Oh, and how funny Tiddles looks as he delicately tries to sit and come to terms with his memories. Dogs. Dogs care. They really care. However, unlike cats, they can be trained, for the whole estate to hear. This propensity to learn can have tremendous benefits, as our traditional best friends very quickly read the signs that something smutty is about to happen and go immediately into their particular version of my humans are about to do that thing they do mode. This can, depending on the personality of the dog and the extreme nature of the human filth taking place, manifest itself in a number of ways. Way 1. Leave the room and leave them to it. Until. Way 2. Retreat to a safe distance. Writer's note. This has to be learned over time as Mummy squirts with differing power depending on the time of the month. And wait it out. Until. Way 3. Curl up on the bed and expect the occasional kick, bump and nudge. Until. Way 4. Sit bolt upright and stare at your preferred human. Until. Way 5. Sniff exposed bottoms. Until, way 6, investigate hard sticky out things that bounce by getting your head way too close to it. Until, way 7, nuzzle into wet patches. Until, way 8, place a cold nose onto any number of exposed body parts at an inopportune moment. Until, way 9, curl up next to a head that is getting head. Until, way 10, lick out at the ear of someone who is being licked out. Until, way 11, whimper slightly throughout the whole sordid affair. Until, way 12, any combination of or all of the above. Until, the sign, the tell, the noise, the grunt, the scream, the expletive, the expulsion, the ceasing of the expulsion, the sigh, the huff, the clean-up, the TV going back on. Every dog who has ever been in a relationship with a human knows what it is for their particular bipeds. And that thing, be it a sound or an action or a bodily fluid, means it is once again dog time. Some dogs will reintroduce themselves with stealth, where the human concerned won't even realize that there is a tongue licking at their fingers, or that they are stroking a furry head with nature's hair gel still dripping from their hand, or that their knickers have been dragged to the bottom of the bed and the crotch is being chewed away at speed. Other dogs take a more pragmatic view of the situation and simply force their way between the still convulsing couple and demand the love you owe them for the last 2 to 60 minutes of their little doggy lives. Training goes both ways, eh? Other pets, fish, they may be in the room but generally don't seem to get involved in any part of the process. Writer's note, or at least they shouldn't. Please don't. Hamsters, guinea pigs, fancy rats, /mice, gerbils. Generally, it's best to keep them out of the bedroom, as a squeaky wheel can be very off-putting and cause flaccidity. They are also soft, fluffy, fast, and like to burrow into holes, so if you look up and see the cage door open, just after something lovely enters your body, you may want to panic and speed dial the Andy department. Reptiles/amphibians/snakes. This category of pet is pretty ambivalent to human relations and will generally ignore any bonking action in favor of a trusted dart of the tongue, croak, or hiss. Turtles and tortoises. All tortoises are turtles, but not all turtles are tortoises. If you find this fact interesting and want to know more, it means that you will never have a problem with testudines getting in the way of sex, because you will never be in a position to actually have sex. Rabbits/ferrets/chinchillas. Cage these animals well away from the boudoir. They all have opinions on what you are doing. Rabbits fuck like, well, rabbits. Ferrets are aggressive and grab the female by the neck and drag her around. Chinchillas are monogamous and generally quite dull lovers. One of the above is bad enough, and their sexual behavior could rub off on you eventually, but if you have all three, the confusion and stress of having to make as many babies with just one person, who you regularly physically abuse, could lead to relationship issues only a trained vet would be able to help you with. Monkeys, apes. Never keep these in the bedroom. Writer's note. I mean, don't keep them at all, really. They're not pets, and you deserve to have your arm torn off at the socket if that's what they choose to do to you in a quiet moment. They're too like us and understand the mechanics. They will judge you. Horses/ponies/llamas/alpacas. These animals require a whole extra building in which to keep them, so if they see you having sex, it means you have gone to this building, their home, and are having sex in front of them on purpose. That's just weird. See where I put things I create at.